So if you haven't been paying attention, what's going on with Drake and the whole UMG lawsuit, it's getting crazier and crazier, bro. He's doing some wild shit. He's letting a lot of people down. A lot of disappointment going around with what Drake is doing. Him and his lawyers trying to get Kendrick's information about, beating up Whitney, information about if his kid is his. And I believe it's all to save face, but we got Joe Budden Podcast. They was weighing in on it, so we gonna check out what they talking about. I'm sure it's gonna be somebody talking some nonsense, but we gonna check it out and see what they got to say. But before we do, like the video, subscribe to the channel, y'all.
But back to the subject at hand. I think that I think he's just fighting two fights. I think one, you embarrassed me nationally, internationally. So now I'm gonna get you back, right? I'm gonna spend any expense I can to personally get you back.
Yep.
And then I think he's fighting a totally separate fight with UMG, and I think they just intersect. And I think his goal with Universal is to get my masters.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sue you to the point where our settlement gonna be my shit. And I was.
So there's been a lot of people saying, online, Drake, doesn't have his masters. Some people saying he does. Lucian Grange made a statement basically saying, like, we paid all this money to get all this stuff. So he didn't really imply that he had them or it wasn't definite or if he bought them, and Drake got them. But as far as we know, Drake doesn't have his masters. So I don't know if Lucian Grange own all of them, how much he owns. You know what I mean? We don't really know the details of it. I'm sure it's going to come out in the lawsuit if it goes forward, though. But yeah, he's fighting two fights with UMG, but he's also hurt as fuck because of what Kendrick did to him. And for all the Drake stands out there was saying, man, he's not going after Kendrick. What the fuck y'all got to say now? What the fuck y'all got to say now? Because now he's going after Kendrick and his kids. I feel like Whitney should file defamation against his ass, but he's trying to say that what he did is justified because it's true. But if it was true, why are you, trying to get info for it? Because you said everything you said was facts. So if you knew it was facts, that would mean that you had, the goods. You had proof to say that what you were saying was facts, but you're asking for the goods now. So what is it? I think Drake is full of shit. I don't think none of this is going to hold up, but gotta wait and see.
Looking at that might be the start of the beef because I was wondering how, because his masters were with Young Money.
Right.
And Wayne sold Young Money, sold all of their masters to Universal for $100 million.
Gotcha.
So now it's like, oh, wait a minute, you sold my shit to them. Like, I might have tried to buy my shit.
I could have bought my shit myself. I could have bought my shit.
Like,
I'd have gave you $150 for my shit.
Let me ask you a question about Drake, because I'm trying to get into the psychology of Drake. You said it's two fights.
This is my opinion.
I agree with your assessment. The second fight I get. The first fight against Kendrick, do you think he's consciously doing that? Do you think he's sitting in his house like, I'm gonna get him back?
Yes, nigga.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Then that's
my nigga, you broke my spirit, you broke my ego, you broke my public image that I had in a worldwide sense.
Well, why we act like he also doesn't have the fan base to support that?
Yeah, I think Drake, is really trying to get Kendrick back because if you know Drake, you follow his career. Whenever he had issues with somebody, he don't let shit go, man. He'll hold on to shit. Like he was still mad at Serena, all them years. He was mad at his exes, females he messed with. He's mad at niggas that he fucked with back in the day. He's still mad at them, so he don't let shit go. You know what I mean? I guess they say that's what Scorpios do. I'm a Scorpio, but I don't agree with that shit. But yeah, I think he's definitely, petty enough to try to get Kendrick back on some shit like that.
Type of thinking. Like, it's not like the whole world is saying you bugging out. A lot of people think that he's still in the right and should do shit like that.
That is true.
So even while you have the other people,
but it's his stands who are fucking delusional. I equate Drake's stands to Donald Trump supporters, MAGA supporters. They will find any reason to say Drake's right. Drake's never fault, just like MAGA supporters would never say Trump is wrong. So no matter what Drake does, his fans is like, well, Drake, he got a point, you know what I mean? Because Kendrick went after, I think there was something they were saying where they're like, well, Kendrick went after Adonis and said Adonis's name, so why can't Drake go after Kendrick's kids? And first of all, that was a battle. And second of all, he didn't disrespect Adonis. He put Adonis in the song, but he was referencing Adonis saying, look at who your daddy is. He wasn't going after Adonis. You know what I mean? So it's a whole different thing from a lawsuit to a battle and to be actually putting somebody's kids in a lawsuit, bro. That's a whole different thing. And even still, Kendrick didn't want to do that shit. Kendrick was like, let's keep it peaceful. Let's make it just friendly fade where we just go on bar for bar. But just like Drake always does, he mentions somebody's female. That's what happened with Pusha T. He mentioned his wife, and Pusha T went squirt surf on that motherfucker. You feel me? So it's like Kendrick did the same thing. So you can't blame Kendrick for some shit that Drake wanted to engage.
Saying shit, you can block that out by your fans standing by you and say, nah, fuck that, you were right. Keep killing, keep killing.
It's just so not hip hop. I mean, again,
it's not
hip hop at all.
I have no.
I don't think he cares about that.
This is past hip hop.
And it's hard for me to believe because Drake loves hip hop.
I think he does.
Drake cares so much about legacy and image.
Think he care more about hip hop or more about money?
Stay right there. Stay where you are.
Y'all fucking with my legacy.
You fucking with my legacy by calling me a pedophile to the entire planet Earth.
But he's ruining his own legacy. He's ruining his own legacy. I had an argument with somebody on Twitter where they were saying, I'd rather be in a lawsuit saying I'm snitching on somebody than to be called a pedophile. You know what I mean? And I mean, yes, you get that, but you have to realize, like, everybody don't think you're a pedophile. I told him, I said, yeah, some delusional people out there are like, yeah, Drake's really a pedophile. But, or a PDF, I'm sorry. They gonna probably monetize it for that shit. But yeah, it's some people out there saying Drake's a PDF. But the level-headed people, like, that just listen to the music, they don't think that. They think Drake got some weird ass shit going on. Like, that nigga ain't rap too tight, but I don't think anybody with conscience, like, yeah, Drake's really out here trying to do that, you know, with younger girls. But a lot of people's listening to music just like, you know, I'm listening to music, I'm jamming to it. Once that song goes away, Drake come back to make a song, it's a hit. Nobody's gonna be thinking about that shit, but because he's dragging it on, he's making it worse for himself. So his legacy, he's ruining his legacy. He cares about hip hop, but he don't care about hip hop that much to where he's about to burn the whole fucking thing down just to get back at Kendrick.
And it's almost, the song is so big that niggas kind of accepted it. The narrative.
Why not just make another song?
Because when I tried to rap it out, niggas stopped the beat.
Because that nigga sucks. That's why. Because he knew he got his ass whooped. He thought Kendrick was going to be an easy out. He was like, man, I'm going to whoop this nigga. He had people in his ear talking about it's going to be easy. He had the hubris to think, I can win this. I can take Kendrick on. And that was his fault. So he was just delusional in that sense. Like, you lost, you got your ass whooped.
Eve said, no, you lost.
That's true.
You lost, nigga.
Do people do
A minor, like, yo, fam, to a nigga with an ego, that shit is something.
Do people remember that even in, like, if you take the Jay and Nas beef, right? Mm-hmm. And after Nas dropped Ether, it was kind of solidified. You lost. Jay still dropped some fire bars after that, and it was just no one cared.
Nobody
it's
heard
over.
Yeah,
like at this point,
the narrative had been formed.
The narrative was already formed.
That's true.
Drake, Jay-Z dropped his most fire bars on Blueprint 2. Right after
Correct.
that.
But you know the difference, though, right?
No one cared.
You know the difference?
What?
We talking Jay and Nas, New York. I mean, granted, the rest of the country heard.
Pre-internet.
Right.
True.
This was performed at the Grammys, won all the awards and the Super Bowl, and my whole argument is y'all artificially inflated that record to even get to that level.
But here's my problem with it. I think that Drake is single-handedly trying to change the outlook of hip-hop. I mean, there's certain principles that, you know, is conducted in hip-hop, meaning that when there's a battle in diss records, you say, you know, Biggie said what he said, you know, you let it lie where it lies. No one, and you, I have to look at how you were raised in order to even understand what's being done. Meaning, like, people from the hood or from the struggle, not saying Drake wasn't from that, but you grew up different. So you understand and you value things a little bit different. And you and principles and morals, even though it's changing now, some people still value that. So if you diss me, I diss you, nigga, I go my way, I see you, we gonna hop you and flip you, we go our way, we try to figure it out. Drake is taking this to court and making it seem like...
Because Drake's never got his ass whooped. And like Flips is saying, yeah, it's a different thing how you grow up. Like Kendrick growing up in Compton, he done seen some bad shit. Drake ain't ever seen no bad shit. He might have seen some shit, but it ain't been nothing bad enough to where he ain't got his ass whooped. He ain't never, face a nigga about to fuck him up and like, I just guess I gotta fight. You know what I mean? If I win, I win. You know what I mean? Growing up, your dad made you fight. You know what I mean? If you had to fight with your brothers, we had to fight a nigga that was 15. I was like 8. And me and my brothers had to fight this older nigga. I was like 15 at the time. We was all young. We got our asses whooped, but we all stuck together. Drake ain't been through that, so Drake getting his ass whooped by Kendrick, he doesn't know how to handle it. So if you don't know how to handle something, you just gonna revert back to the most basic of shit of yo family upbringing of, well, I'm just about to get these lawyers involved because I don't know what else to do. What you could have did was just took it on the chin and kept it moving. But he couldn't do that. Like he said, this nigga's worth so much money and he just got this complex of, I'm the greatest thing in the world. I can't lose. And then you lost and he don't know what to do with himself.
Which is, I guess he has enough audience to do it, making it seem like it's cool to do so. It makes it seem like if I say something to you, you say something back to me. And even if the inflation is going to happen. Nigga, you're gonna try any tactic to get your record out there. You're gonna try any tactic to be the winner. True. That's what it is.
Hold on.
Yeah, Drake, what he's trying to do is he's trying to prove that what he said was true. That's why he's going back to 2014 of Kendrick's life and trying to see if he can find anything of Kendrick beating Whitney or any kind of domestic violence. So he's asking for all this shit to prove what I said about Kendrick beating his wife is true. With the kids, he's trying to get something to say what I said about his kid not being his is true. And the thing is, like, how are you going to find out? How is UMG going to find something that says Kendrick kids ain't his? What, you going to make that nigga take a paternity test? They not going to do that. So UMG doesn't have nothing to prove that. Do they have something to prove that Kendrick beat on a female? They might. I don't know. You know what I mean? But say they do find something that Kendrick beat up his girl. What the fuck is that going to do? So you win part of this lawsuit saying, well, what I said was facts. So you get some money from UMG. Now UMG got to pay you out. You're going to be branded as hip hop for snitching. You're going to be branded as hip hop for a nigga that went to the cops because you lost a rap battle. The narrative is already painted, bro. Like, if you would have just lost a battle and just disappeared, people would have been like, man, Drake got his ass whooped. People have still been singing that song. Yeah, some people would have been like, that nigga's a PDF. But the majority of people ain't thinking that. People was just jamming to that song, and they would have forgot that shit. We live in an era of where people don't remember nothing after 15 minutes. You know what I mean? So if Drake would have came back a year with a bop and a smash, people would have thought nothing of that battle. The hip hop purists would have remembered it as, yeah, that was a dope ass battle. But he's dragging this shit on and it's gonna make him look worse. Like, the narrative's already painted of you doing this lawsuit. The narrative of the PDF thing, there was no truth to that as far as we know. It was just like something that Kendrick ran with in a battle to win the narrative, and he won that. But you file a lawsuit is something we can see. We're watching with our own eyes. That's not gonna go away. There's no way that's ever gonna go away. So, yeah, you can win this lawsuit and fuck up everybody else up, that's trying to drop a track because now they label is gonna scrutinize everything they say because they don't want to get sued. But you're doing this just so you can say, I won. But you still lost a battle. You're still suing a nigga in court. Drake ain't gonna look good no matter which way this goes, in my opinion. But I agree with some of the shit they saying. You know what I mean? Like Flip said, you raise a different way, you're going to have different morals, different standards, what you're going to do. Like Kendrick said, not like us is because of this. So everything Kendrick said was true. You know what I mean? Maybe not the colonizer shit. He might have went a little bit overboard with that, but the not like us thing is point on, man. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, bro, with this whole lawsuit thing. I've been keeping up with it, but I ain't really dropped no videos on it. I'm going to try to stay up to date on it. So let me know what y'all think in the comments of all this shit going on. It's sad, bro. I'm disappointed in Drake because I was rocking with him up into the end of the battle. I was like, man, you got your ass whooped, but you did your thing. Like, you dropped your tracks, you spit some bars, you went toe-to-toe with Kendrick. Kendrick just bested you. But once he did this lawsuit, I can't get behind that shit. And now you doing a lawsuit where you bringing in Kendrick and you bringing in his kids and his lady. Like, that's some lame shit, man. That's some shit a nigga might fight you over, in my opinion. You know what I mean? But get in them comments. Let me know what y'all think, man. Until next time, that's a wrap.